Alright, people, my name is Ugochukwu. Today is June 26th, 2021. Somebody sent me this video you're looking at. It's a video by Peter Obi. Very, very interesting video. I'm gonna do part of it, not all of it, because there's stuff he said there that really, the stuff that interests me. So I want to expand on what he said. Like I said in a podcast I made a couple of days ago, I'm not gonna devote my 100% time doing talking about politics. I will just, majority of my time will be on science. From time to time, when I see a video like this that contains stuff I like to talk about, I just go ahead and say something about it. Everything from Nigeria is depressing. In fact, everything from Black Africa is depressing. If you keep talking about that, one day you go mad. So that's why I want to, balance it out. Say something about politics there from time to time, but mainly I'll concentrate on in the area I'm very comfortable with. And then people can learn something from what I'm doing, not just, talking about all this bad news from Nigeria. But anyway, you guys see what that guy said, man. I'm gonna play the part I want you to concentrate on. See, what happened is, this thing he's talking about is not just in Nigeria. I think you find the same problem in almost all Black African countries, right? People don't really know. Black people don't know how. I don't want to say they don't know how, but they don't have interest in building public. Like you said, you will hear in a minute, public wealth. There's a difference between public wealth and private wealth, right? And you should know that. Your private wealth is the wealth you have for yourself. You used to, feed your family. Now, nobody's begrudging you about that. It's good. Everybody should, be able to feed their family. But on the other hand, for you to exist in a society somehow have to have collective wealth that allows people to do what they have to do to feed their families, you see. So I'll give you an example. There is schools for kids. That's a collective wealth. You may not see it that way, but that's what it is, because kids go to school, develop their mind, and then come out and go to college and get a job, right? And then feed their own families. So something like school is for collective wealth. Something like good roads are for collective wealth. Something like good hospitals, right? Good medical clinic, good pharmaceutical stuff, like pharmaceutical companies or stores where you go and buy pharmaceutical. These are mainly to see that public is okay. You see what I'm saying? Think about public libraries, university libraries. They're there to help the people develop their mind, you see. Sometimes they are called public good, right? A road is a public good. A public library is a public good. They are public because anybody can use it. You can use it without, excluding me from using it, right? You can't go to library. They have a library here, the city here, where we live. You can't go there and exclude me from coming in there. So you go, you use it, other people will come and use it. You cannot exclude anybody from using it. The same thing with roads, schools. You send your kids to schools here, nobody can exclude you, unless like they do the district where you live, the district you live, your kids have to go to school there. Let's say you live in this district over here, you can't send your kids to different districts. But as long as you live in a district, your kids can go to school there. Nobody will exclude your kids. So these are public goods that, if you think about it carefully, they may not bring immediate wealth to the community, but in the long run, yes, it develops kids. I mean, these public goods develop kids' mind. Then kids will will be well equipped to go to college or go get a job. You know, they have also technical schools. Most of these technical schools were built by the state and the federal government. Those are also public goods that help. If a kid doesn't want to go to university, they can go to technical school and learn how to do stuff with their hands, and then they can get a job. When they get a good job, what happens? They feed their family. They're not committing crime. They pay taxes, right? So in the long run, society wins. By developing public goods, right? Instead of everybody trying to carry out, all the money they can carry, they go just carry it for themselves. That's what they do in Africa. Obasanjo came in there, he was like accumulating all kinds of money. The same thing that Buhari and his cronies are doing. They're taking all the money that belongs to the country and then leaving everybody. And then he will go to London for medical care. He will not fix the roads that run from... No roads in the south, no federal road in the southeast has been fixed since he was there, right? So all this stuff, the little things people do help to create public wealth. And then everybody will be enriched, right? Instead of people enriching themselves alone and impoverishing everybody else in the society. So, but anyway, let me play this video and then I will go point by point and respond to what this man has to say.
That year, I had always done courses in various schools. Every year, I spent at least a week. Usually it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks in school. That's taking me to Harvard, to Columbia, Oxford, Cambridge. I've been to all of them. That year, I was going to Kellogg Graduate School to do a program that was for 6 weeks. So in June that year, I went to Kellogg. The man who founded Kellogg Graduate School, Professor Dean Jacob, it was his last year. He founded the school in 1957. 2001 was the last year he taught and retired. And he took us on what they call global economy. After 1 month of being in this class, this man never mentioned anything about Africa. A day before he concluded the lecture, everybody in Chicago the hall was full of top business leaders. A day before that final day, when he finished, I raised my hand and said, "You never said anything about Africa." He said, "You want to know about Africa?" I said, "Yes. I paid $40,000 for this course." And nothing was mentioned about the continent that came. He said, "I'll tell you about Africa tomorrow." The next day, which was his last day, he finished and said, "You want to know about Africa? It's important I'll tell you this story." I said, "Yes." He said, "There's nothing called African economy." He said, "Nobody plans with Africa." I was so, you can imagine how I feel. He turned to me and said, "Peter, can you give me 10, 20-year plan of your country?" The hall was full. I was courageous enough. I said, "Yes." Even when I know there was not even tomorrow. Next one for 1 month. I said, "Yes." He said that you can only do that when you have countries. If you have America, they have 10-year plan, 20-year plan, 30-year plan. You don't see it in African countries. That's why it's in my country. When I know it wasn't there. Because see, have I ever seen any car manufacturer talking about African specification? So they have European specification, Gulf specification, Asian specification, American specification. You know why? Nobody plans with Africa. Say, "Join me for lunch." So I joined him for lunch. After lunch, he said, "Let's take a walk by Lake Michigan." If you know Kellogg Graduate School, it's on banks of Lake Michigan. The lake is like this, the school is like this. So they have long beach. So he said, "Let's take a walk in it." And we decided to take a walk. As we were starting the walk, he said to me, "Do you have any of your country's currency?" This was 2001. The highest denomination was 100 naira. I brought it out. I gave it. He said, how much is it? I said, 100 naira. He brought out $100. He said to me, which of these two currencies do you prefer? I told him dollar. He said, why? I told him that it's 100 naira to $1. So his own is 10,000 naira. My own is 100 naira. So he said I should keep his dollar and take my naira. Took my naira. So he gave me $100 for 100 naira. After we walked a little while again, he turned around to me and said, Peter, you still have the money? I said, yes. He said, he brought it out again and said, which of these two currencies do you prefer? I told him $100. He said, why? I told him about the rates. Again. So, okay, you keep it, I'll keep your money. He said, let's sit down. We sat down. He first proved to me that it costs more to print the naira than to print the $100. Naira have multiple colors. I came back and took it on with Sanusi, and he agreed. Naira have multiple colors, but dollar is just green and white. He said to me, Peter, do you know why you believe in the dollar and you don't believe in naira? I answered him again. He said, no, it's the amount of faith you have in your country. You don't have faith in your country. It's all about it. You don't have faith in your country. Economy is driven by faith. Nothing else. Anybody who tells, I've been teaching this for several years now, is faith. It's hope. That is what those plans I'm talking to is all about. 10 years, 20 years. It's hope. Nobody's sure what is going to happen in 10 years. But countries do give their people hope. But there's a sense of hopelessness in your place. That's why you prefer this currency. I've served on various boards and various committees and everything. And he went on and on to tell me about his life. And he convinced me that Japanese people keep their money in yen, not the rates. Chinese in Chinese yuan. Malaysians in Malaysian ringgit. Singapore in Singaporean dollars. He went on, then there was no euro. He told me Italians, which their rate was worse, keep it Italian rila. Germans in marks, everybody in this. But the Africans don't keep it because they don't have faith in their continent. So they give it to the dollar and make the dollar stronger. Because they prefer to put their money here and build in America. Now he is a lecturer. He drives S-Class. The wife is the lecturer, he drives the Lexus. The daughter is the lecturer, drives the Lexus. The lecturers in your place don't drive such cars, don't live such life. And they said to me, can I ask you for a favor? Just to tell you a story. I said, yes. He said, go back to your country and participate in building public wealth. Public wealth enriches everybody. Individual wealth impoverishes everybody. All of you want to make private money. It does not enrich.
All right, you hear the man, right? See, the thing is, why I like this video is it contains a lot of stuff that, that is missing, why no African country is doing well. You see the advice the guy gave him that, by the way, this video was made in 2001. That's a long time, man, a long time ago. I think that was before, no, not this video, but the experience, sorry. This video, I think it was made in 2014, but the experience he had with the professor happened in 2001. He said that, so the experience he had with Dean, forgot his last name, the owner of Kellogg's school, that man died. He died in 2017. But anyway, see, the dean told him that other countries give their people hope, that economies are driven by faith, right? Hope and faith is the same thing. that African economy, there is no sense of there's always sense of hopelessness in most African countries, right? So yeah, when you think about hope or faith, think about confidence, consumer confidence. Um, see, consumer confidence. You're not gonna go buy a car. Let's say you're in this economy where things work, right? You're not gonna go buy a car unless you're sure you have a good job. You can pay for the car. I'm talking about buying brand new luxury car. Not having a small car, a necessary car that can take you to work, bring you back. Even that, some people don't have money to buy that. They just use the bus. So consumer confidence. When people have the confidence to do stuff, it helps the economy of their country, right? Of course, everywhere in Black Africa, nothing is moving, right? Nothing is moving. And there's somewhere he said there is African countries do not have any plan. Nobody plans for Africa because we do not have. There's no African countries don't plan. The companies don't plan for Africans. That's what he was talking about, like automobile industry. When they design their stuff, they design for Asia, design for Europe, but they don't design for Africa because there's no hope there. I see, there's no plan. And then what really caught my attention, the guy told him that that public wealth enriches everybody, and that the individual private wealth impoverishes everybody. Well, he doesn't mean that. And then he said, all of you want to make private wealth. Well, it doesn't mean that it's not good to make money for you and your family. That's actually not what the guy is saying. The professor is not saying that. He's not saying that it's bad for you to, get a job, make the money to feed your kids. That's not what he's saying. He's saying in totality of things. That's something, when he used the word public wealth, right? And this is what they do in Africa. One man take all the money, create his own private everything. Private school, private library. And not a lot of people can use that. Remember at the beginning I was saying public library, everybody can use it. Nobody can exclude you from using it. I mean, like, say if you go to, I don't know if they have any public library now in Nigeria. I don't think so. Because the reason is now anything that has to do with education is not important to our African leaders. That's why they run away, send their kids to oversee for education, right? And then they don't fix the schools or even the hospitals. We just heard yesterday that President Buhari he planned to go to London for another medical care, but because of protests, he didn't want to go. So, but if he spend a lot of money, see all that money he spent to build railroad from his village to Niger Republic. That money could have built about 5 world technology-ready hospitals all over Nigeria. But that's not his priority, right? That's not his prerogative to do stuff like that. But that's what it means, public wealth. Because if you build the 5 good hospitals that even himself can go there. If he is sick, he goes there. He helps everybody in that society. If anybody gets sick, they go to the hospital right there and get taken care of. And then by all the politicians going there to spend their money there, it creates jobs for a lot of Nigerians, right? Those 5 hospitals will create a lot of jobs. I used to work in a hospital when I was in college. Think about hospital. Do you know how much? You know the amount of jobs that are in one particular big hospital? It's a lot of jobs there, man. Nurses, doctors, they're not the only people that work there. They have radiologists, they have lab technicians, they have store They have a lot of stores that create where they wash the linens or where they supply all the stuff they use. Doctors use like needles and tubes and all that stuff. So when you have a big hospital that works, it creates a lot of jobs. Okay. Also think about the custodians, the people that will park cars, like what they call that ballet parking. Just think about the amount of jobs. Even the cafeteria in there, one big hospital will create thousands of jobs for Nigerians, right? But you see, this man, he doesn't care. Our leaders don't care. They just prefer to go use the one that is already made ready by the white people. But when you create a public hospital like 5 big ones, right? You create thousands or even maybe millions of jobs. So once you do that, then you creating public wealth, because a lot of people are working there and feeding their family instead of sitting around doing nothing and committing crime, right? So this is just big hospitals in Nigeria is just one aspect. Suppose they create, they build big libraries, they build big public transportation that works, like a lot of public railroad system that crisscross all over Nigeria. Imagine the amount of job it will create. A lot of people will be working, feeding their family. That's what the man that is talking to him, the professor that was talking to him, that's what he meant. But instead of our leaders doing that, what would they do? They would take the money and put it in their pocket. In fact, recently they said they budgeted billions of naira to fix National Assembly. They took the money because they said a couple of months later, when it rained, the National Assembly roof was leaking all over the place. So yeah, they budget money, the money that they can be used to create public goods, right? What they call public goods. See, think of the road. The road is a public good. The road you drive in, it's a public. Nobody can stop you. If you get in your car now and get in a road, nobody will tell you can't drive in a road. It's not possible. Or you going to the library here in America, I'm talking about public libraries. Even universities, right? Libraries that are inside the university. If you walk in there, nobody will stop you. You can go in there, sit down, read books, and then when you're done, you go home. Yeah, these are things that help to create public wealth, stuff like that, infrastructures like this. But what happened is in most African countries, like the professor said, everybody wants to create private wealth. They want to be better than their neighbor. They think if they have the biggest car, they don't want anybody to have that kind of car. It's only themselves and their family that are enjoying it. That's the mentality black people have in Africa. I think that stuff is ingrained in the black psyche, you see. And then remember what he told him, that Japanese, Chinese, Malaysians, Singaporeans, Italians, Germans, and the rest of the world, they keep their money in their currency, in their nation's currency. Only in Africa that Africans take their money and run to other countries. But you know why our leaders do that, right? Because they don't have confidence. They don't have confidence in the economy there. They don't have confidence in the institutions there, in their own country. So they will take the money, go banking in America, banking in Swiss bank. So that's really sad. There was one video I was watching. They said that Abacha had a lot of money in the Swiss bank, billions. Think about $3 billion. Nigeria had to put up a fight before they released that money. And that money stayed there for years, maybe more than 20 years. Do you know the amount of interest that money made for the people of Switzerland? So yeah, see, the way I'm looking at things, we are the one creating our own problems. Sometimes you wonder, all these people say they have education. We have a lot of people that have education, but it's not showing. It's like people go to Europe, they go to, all over European countries, they come to America, but then it's not showing the way we'll build our own society, right? Everybody's still chasing private wealth, like he said. Nobody's thinking about, creating public goods and public wealth. So that's something to think about. The question becomes, well, I was gonna say, what is good is your education, but somebody will say, well, you get to school, you learn to feed your kids, right? You feeding your kids. That's okay. You feeding your kids, I'm feeding my kids, but that's not what this video is all about. That's creating private wealth. How do we move from private wealth to creating public wealth? And you know what is really funny? Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can be creating your own private wealth while creating public wealth, right? Of course, you can do it. You can be taking care of your family while getting into what they call collective action that help to create public goods, public wealth. But our people don't think like that. Everybody's just busy chasing money for themselves. That's why everything is going backwards now. The whole world is moving on. Africa is sitting down there going backward. But anyway, I kind of like the video. The video is really, really very interesting. Peter Obi, do you know that man did very well when he was the governor? They say when he left billions of dollars in the account. He didn't borrow money. He used the money he was allocated to. He used it very well to build a lot. They say he built many schools, did a lot of fantastic work, and left there with surplus money. I think it's because his background was in finance. So he really knows how the financial world works. See, somebody like this would never be president of Nigeria because they would allow him. I don't know what it is, an inferiority complex among the Hausa Yoruba, Hausa Fulani, and then people in the West like, what's his name, Tinubu, the criminal. He wants to be president. They will never allow somebody like Peter Obi to come in and clean that country. They will never do it. Because Tinubu, he wants to be president. He's running around. That man owns Lagos. They say whatever revenue that comes into Lagos, automatically he gets about 80-90% of it for him. What is one man going to do with all that money? How old is that man? I'm not picking on Tinubu, but most of our leaders are like that. What are you going to do with that money? You old. Your kids are all grown. What you need to do now, try to develop your society, but we don't think like that. He's only thinking about accumulating more money. Obasanjo was like that too. Buhari is like that. What's his name? Abacha was like that. Babangida was like that. They go in there, they destroy the country. What's his name? Abu Salami was like that. They said that man was carrying money from Central Bank in big trucks. Every day, they load a lot of dollars and move to his house. So I know when I say something, some people get mad with me. These are all black people. They're not white people. So you're not going to blame it on white people. So we're doing all that stuff to ourselves. So you look at all of them except Peter Obi. All of them didn't do anything for anybody. Where they say Babangida built Abuja, but he stole more than he used to build stuff. Look at what they're doing in China. I shared with some of you guys the kind of roads they're building in China. They build roads through ocean. They construct heavy highways on top of ocean. And then they build, some of the tunnels, they build it underwater. Spending billions and billions of dollars to build their road networks. And this helps the people. In fact, one of the videos said, this is the way China is fighting poverty. Because it gives people access to cities. That way they can go and work and then go back to their village. Our people don't think like that. When you say something, some people will get mad with you. But you look around, right? It's not an accident. Are you saying this is an accident? Everywhere a black person is managing a country, the country is not doing very well. The country is going backwards. You say this to some people, they get mad. But am I lying? I'm not lying. So they get in there. They want to pursue private wealth at the expense of public wealth. That's what it is. That's why I love this video, So, but anyway, let me leave it there, man.